Hello, and welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am David Bernard Houck.
I'm Sam Allman.
And I'm here. But really, my name is Anthony Lerma.
And Maddy Grace Webben will not be joining us today.
Okay, in the very off chance that this is like someone's first episode for some reason, I will clarify I'm Maddy Grace Webben, and I was doing a little jape. A little chortle. A little bit of fun to brighten our day. And Sam died.
Yes, so now there is a power vacuum, and we are all struggling to grab the throne.
That's right. We're forging
Bernard,
alliances.
I vote for Bernard. Let Bernard have it.
That's not struggling.
Maddy Grace, would you like to form and state?
Yeah, all right, sure, fine. That was easy.
I'm just going to join the army. Like, sort of how Suikoden, you join, people just go like, yeah, you're in a war? I'll join. Why not?
Sure. I'm on the front line, actually. Why not?
I think the last time Sam was in here, and you guys would know better than me, but it was when Storm was born, right? Like, around then?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Was that, when...
I don't remember a game, though. Yeah, I was trying to remember.
Was that when I was joining y'all for East 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was, yeah. I think someone needs to tell these people, all of the people in this fucking game, someone needs to tell these people that Luca Blight's war is not their war. And that they really have no business fighting. They have nothing to be gained from fighting it. I don't exactly know what kind of societies people live in. It's vaguely feudalistic, but they should just stop. Like, I get it's not how war works. I get there's like coercive state systems and all, but like they're not just like, oh, I gotta go fight a war. They're just like, yeah, we love it. We think war is awesome.
I can't believe a JRPG doesn't have a very well thought out society system to how its society works.
It's a bit more than usual, considering how like dark a lot of the game is. But then people are just like, "Yeah, let's just go do war."
Yeah,
Right?
Why not? I don't got anything else going on.
Yeah,
I'm free the whole of next week, so if you want me to be in war, I can be in war next week. So, how was everyone's past week?
and then you go first.
Ooh, okay, so let's see. Yeah, so my week's been good. I'm dog sitting for my friends. They have a movie coming out. They did a documentary on the FARC, which is sort of in our view of it's a Colombia military group that's fighting against the government of Colombia, and the FARC has these camps where they recruit children. So the documentary kind of sheds a life of looking at post-FARC life of 3 people. One of the persons is trans. One of the person is just a normal woman trying to find her way in like sort of a country that doesn't respect women. And the third is just a guy who's became more of a to help people out of it. So the movie's premiering at the Miami Film Festival. And then hopefully it'll premiere in a wider audience. But yeah. So I'm watching their dog, and their dog will bark a lot, so I'm hoping he's good. My dog rarely barks, which is one of those things. Like, are they friends? They don't say anything to each other. Are they buddies? Question mark. But yeah, so my week's been dogs.
All dogs are buddies.
That's right. All dogs are buddies.
That's so cute. I like that.
Also, like, Also, for the record, that movie sounds dope, and shout outs to Fark. Yeah, no, that's cool. My week has been spent doing the thing that I said it would be spent doing last week, which is learning how to drive a big old truck. Which, due to COVID, is mostly not actually driving the big old truck, but watching a bunch of however, that doesn't mean that something couldn't happen. Like, I am a big old dumbass. So obviously still
just use your skills and abilities.
I just gotta use my skills and abilities, but like you never know, like it's got some trolley parts in it.
There's some RNG to be sure.
Yeah, there's some I got some safe strats, but also there's some really tough skips, Yeah,
dumb question. I'm assuming these are stick shift trucks. Yes.
No, they moved out of stick shifts. Thank goodness, because that would have made things even more difficult. I never actually learned to drive stick. I could have. I just never got around to it. I thought of doing it in preparation for maybe working here, and then I found out that they had completely phased out stick manual transmission at this center, and was like, all right, I'm not going to bother then. Because why would I learn something that isn't going to be a transferable skill to the very important thing that I'm trying to do? So, yeah, no, that's nice. One less thing to worry about, right? However, the big trucks are still very difficult to drive because they're real big, and they have a really long tail behind that wheel, like a lot. So you got to be real careful when you're doing things like pulling away from a curb. Or all kinds of stuff, not fishtailing out and owning somebody, etc., etc. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Also, either y'all ever fucked in a bar bathroom?
Wow.
No.
No.
Me either, but almost.
I like when Sam's the way the mice will play.
It was a thing that almost happened until I decided that I'm not quite adventurous enough to do that, so then I didn't.
I feel like it's like, do you have to block the door with it, or do you do it in the
you just
bathroom?
go in one of the stalls.
Those are usually really cramped. So you're in
the what do you call it? The
men's restroom. And
no. Well, you're in the first of all, you're in the women's restroom, and second of all, you're in the handicap stall, which is kind of mean, actually. What if someone needs to use that? You're as in the hypothetical character. You're in the handicap one, so hopefully that's fine. That's about my dating life. But no, it was I almost did something that was very, very a lot more spicy than the kind of stuff I normally get up to, and then didn't.
All right.
But it was still fun to think about. Let's see, hold on, what else? No, that's the one interesting thing that has ever happened in my life. So we're good now. We're back to normal.
One thing I did that I forgot to mention, I watched Free Guy, which is surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I watched it on...
Every single person was like, wow, this movie's good, actually. That's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
They should have made a trailer that made it look good, actually.
I mean, same. I always thought I was like, maybe I'll get around to watching it. And obviously didn't watch it in theaters. And so when I clicked it on, I was like, oh, I'm just lightly watching it, sort of having it on. But then it caught my attention. And over time, I was like, okay, I'm into this.
Ooh, me and my GF watched The Lighthouse. I had already seen The Lighthouse. So I was watching it for my second time. My girlfriend was watching it for the first time. Two things about The Lighthouse. First of all, it fucking rules. It's so good. I love that movie. And second of all, I thought it was a tight 90. It's not a tight 90, it's a tight 110. Which is fine. Nothing's wrong with that. Many minutes of a movie. But when you think a movie's 90 minutes going in, at some point you're like, man, this movie really has managed to pack a lot into 90 minutes, hasn't it? And then not till it's over, you're like, like, don't get me wrong. Having a good grasp of pacing, narrative construction, and economical storytelling can allow one to have very, very eventful 90-minute movies, but like not that eventful. Especially because it is, for at least part of its running time, a little bit of a slow burn. So yeah, I was like, if you want to watch that movie, at least check how long it is, because it's longer than I thought it was. Neither of y'all have seen that, have y'all?
I have. It's good.
Okay, you have. Yeah, Bernard, you have it.
I've not seen it. It's bad.
I watched it. I watched it not.
I'm sure
really
it's great.
I watched it not really for this reason, because it's actually been on me and Collie's to watch list for like a hot minute. But it maybe became the thing we finally watched because the Batman came out like on Friday or like tomorrow or something with Robert Pattinson. And I love Robert Pattinson. He's a goddamn genius. And that movie looks great. And the reviews are all saying it's great. And did y'all see the video of Robert Pattinson talking about Final Fantasy VII?
Yes. I saw someone quote tweet it with, it's amazing that you can be on Robert Pattinson's level and still excel this much at scaring the hoes.
Yeah, he's so good. And also, like, there was a part where he's like, I've made a playlist of music that I think that this version of Batman would listen to, and it's all like early aughts, like trashy emo music. Actually, no, it's some trashy emo music and some good emo music. It's a combination. It's like, it fucking rules. It's all the best fucking shit of that era, and I'm like, you're so fucking cool, dude. You're fucking awesome. I want to watch every movie you've ever made. Maybe not Twilight past like the second one, but definitely like the first one at least, because that's actually a pretty good movie.
Maddy Grace, did you? Oh, sorry, Bernard. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I still haven't seen Robert Pattinson in anything that's not Twilight or Harry Potter, and I love him so much, even though I've only seen him in those. I know he's great.
I know
when I finally watch a movie with him, I'm going to be blown away.
Yeah. I read through his filmography, and he was on his bullshit like immediately. It was not slow. Like while he was making Twilight films, like the only his career is literally like Harry Potter, Twilight, and then immediately during and after that is like being in weird art house shit. Like he immediately started doing that and has been doing that his entire career. It's really cool. If you go read the filmography, half of them are like, what the fuck is this movie?
There's I think it's Cosmopolis is really good. It's like a Cronenberg movie.
Oh yeah, I thought he was in a Cronenberg movie, which is a great combination of people.
It takes place, so he's in a limo and he's driving through the city, and it kind of has that small space movie where it's only in the limo, and everything happens in the limo. It's really cool and really visual. Highly recommend. The
guy who made The Lighthouse, his first movie was The Vivitch. It's not how it's pronounced. It's Vivitch, nice. But if you recall, it's like written all dumb, all silly. He made The Witch, which I haven't seen, but everyone said it was great. Yeah. And then I saw The Lighthouse, which is amazing. His next film, he seems to be doing that thing where like a really artsy director who makes slightly lower budget stuff makes more of a mainstream Hollywood type movie. But sometimes that goes really well, and the mainstream Hollywood type movie fucking rules. He's making like a huge budget, mythical war epic about some like Irish king in like the 1100s or something, like some sort of like historical epic drama type thing. Definitely a lot different, but the poster looks really good and the trailer looks really good.
It's actually a Viking prince.
There you go.
Basically the same thing as an Irish king. But I read a headline, and headlines can be very misleading, but I read a headline today that apparently that movie is going to have a naked sword fight on a volcano, according to the director.
That sounds awesome. If I recall, it had an absolutely stacked cast when I was reading about it last week.
Do we not have the title? I'll look it up.
Yeah. There you go. I read about the movie a week ago, so I already forgot most of what I read and saw about it. Anyway, movies are good.
Bernard, what'd you do this week?
I played Elden Ring, and then I was like, I can't believe I gotta stop playing Elden Ring so I can play Suikoden 2. This fucking masterpiece in my favorite genre video game. I can't believe I have to play it.
It's a real shame because, like, I want to hear you about Elden Ring in a second, but I will say, like, Souls games are really special because, like, it's not that they're the best games of all time. I mean, they could be from a certain point of view, but like that's not the point. The point isn't that they're so good. There's lots of games out there that are absolutely incredible masterpieces, but the games have just a fucking compulsion. Like when you start playing a Souls game, that's just your life now. That's just how the games are, and it's just like they're. You don't set it down and pick it up again in a week, like other games that I like just as much. Like I'd put them on the same level of quality as Elden Ring. I could like sit down and, pick up a little later when I have some time. But with any Souls game, it's like every day of the week, it's like, all right, when am I going to have time to play this game?
And
so therefore, having to put it down to play another game, even if it's masterpiece, it's like...
And there's something to be said because it's such a phenomenon right now to be a part of that.
Oh,
especially, and it's just like you're such in the conversation. Like
exactly the whole collective experience of everyone playing the game and figuring it out together and talking about it is such a special thing that we don't get that much anymore nowadays. Totally. So to have something we can all come together and just all have a week where we all just. You don't have to ask your friend what they're doing. They're doing the same thing what they did this week. They did the same thing you did this week. Except not this time because I'm learning how to drive a big car. Sorry.
Yeah. Elden Ring is really good.
Okay, normally I like to have this stuff all surprise me and stuff, but just say some shit about it. Holler a little bit. You can holler a little bit as a treat.
Okay, so I was going through this dungeon that I actually got really far into this dungeon, but then I died. And I was like, I could go back through that dungeon, but I need to use a lot of crossbow bolts for that dungeon. So I'm going to just go back to the starting area and run around and kill critters so I can get their bones so I can make bolts out of them. Like you do. And just doing that, just running around, killing critters, I found this cave. Well, I found this beach, and this beach had lots of cool stuff on it. These gross land octopuses who were really gross and fun to fight. And then I found a cave, and I went in the cave. I explored the cave. I was over-leveled for the cave. So it was nice doing something easy for a change. Found a boss in the cave, beat the boss. I was going through, and when you go through a dungeon in this game, there is usually a portal thing that will take you back to the entrance one way. But there was a message in front of the portal that said, "Don't you dare, something incredible ahead." So I kept going through the dungeon and came out into this onto this beautiful island with like all these particle effects everywhere, and there was this ruined church that had like a dead dragon in it.
Wow.
And It was so cool. And there were crabs on the beach, and next to the crabs, people had left messages saying dog.
Oh, I heard that's the new thing, is that everyone's calling everything a dog.
And I laugh every time.
It's pretty funny.
Very funny. I love it.
And of course, I see that they have the correct phrases in the game's phrase system to allow you to still say things like try, butthole, etc., etc.
Yes.
Always fun.
Yes. Lots of Randy stuff. You can say Fort Night. And apparently, I heard that like the way the messages are translated, they're just individual chunks of text that you select. You don't actually type anything in.
Yeah.
So they're translated. So apparently Japanese players were seeing all these messages that say the Japanese word for fort and the Japanese word for night. And they're like, what does this mean? Is there a fort that I have to go to at night in order to find a certain boss? When in fact it was just English-speaking players talking about Fortnite.
That's really fucking funny. I saw a really good thread on Twitter. I saw a really good thread on Twitter recently that was like, it was like, how to make a Souls game, and it was like parentheses. This is directed at all those devs out there, both big budget and indie, who try to make Souls games and completely miss the point of Souls games. And then it wasn't a joke. That it was serious shit. It was like, Souls games aren't about just being fucking hard or grim. It's about all this other stuff, right? And after all these really smart design points, it was, again, a pretty lengthy thread. After a couple tweets of various notes about the game's design and what really makes the Souls game so good, it's like, oh, and finally, Souls games are extremely funny. Like, yes. You need to understand that. All the games that try to be Souls games are like, oh yeah, Souls games are all just super grimdark all the time. It's like, no. Souls games are fucking hysterical, and like not just because like not just in like the goofy way where like ragdoll or you died, but like the game design does stuff that is just extremely funny, right? And that's why people like the games. And then the thread went on for like 10 more tweets, developing this content about like the particular kind of humor that Souls games have, and how it can often be very subtle, and it can often be very stupid, but it can also be very sophisticated. And how like, yeah, like you dying because something that you didn't see like fell off of a building and landed on you and killed you, and that was intentionally put there by the designer, is really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've heard a lot of people since the release of Elden Ring describe Souls games as Looney Tunes games. And I also saw one person say they should just make a Buster Keaton video game.
That's awesome. Yeah, and of course the fact that they did all the completely straight face and overbearing lore and grimdark tone is part of what makes the humor so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Souls is good. I would love to play one day.
So are we ready to get started on the actual...
Last thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and play a music. So let's all be quiet for a second.
Oh, wait. Hold on. So Brian Sanderson, Kickstarter, up to 20 million right now.
Whoa, is Sam in this podcast again?
It's amazing. He's amazing. I've contributed to the Kickstarter. So if you're into any sort of books of Brian Sanderson fame, jump on in. It's also a little bit of a wave. 26 days left.
Nice.
That's a big Kickstarter.
20 million. Crazy. He got 10 million in the first day.
Damn.
Anyway,
yeah, so let's be quiet for a second and play some music. cool. So, what we were going to do last time is Sam wanted us to play to a certain point. Now, Sam thought that this certain point was like many hours away of gameplay, because I guess he was watching, like we usually do, like you like scrub through like a long play to see how long it takes. Turns out that section of long play was like 95% side quests, and therefore it gave Sam a misunderstanding of how much game there was. So there's let's see how long my notes are this time. My incomplete notes. Like 2 pages. It's not a lot, okay? But despite all that, I also had an extremely stressful week that was more stressful than I expected, so I didn't actually manage to beat the boss, so Bernard's going to take over at the end. All right, cool. So, here's what happens. It's not a lot, but it is very good. So, if you recall, we had just gone to a totally different nation of Torin. Remember, the whole game so far almost entirely has taken place within the bounds of the United City-States of Jalston, which is a large quote-unquote country that is sort of a complex alliance of a bunch of different cities that aren't really a particularly coherent political entity. But turned out there's a different country besides us and Highland. There's also one called Torin, which was the main thing in the previous game, but hadn't really come up in this game yet. So we traveled to Torin, which used to be bad, but decided to be good. And we successfully formed an alliance with them. And we got to add one of 2 gorgeous ladies to our party. And also, the president of Torin, Lepant, gives us the BKM, or blinking mirror. Just a little shmup humor for you there. So anyway, but then President Lepant is like, "Oh, hey, can you do one more favor?" And we're like, "What?" And then he says the literal sentence verbatim, quote, "Take my idiot son with you. He's not worth much, but maybe you can make a man out of him." Which is very funny. If you recall, his idiot son, his large adult son is Sheena. I hadn't really noticed Sheena being a large adult son. I thought he was just like a guy, but apparently he is. He says that Sheena was sent out into the world on a very important mission, but then he's just bitched around having fun like a goddamn prodigal son. So he says, "Yeah, you're banished from my city. Literally don't come back until you've learned to be cool like Toby." So he joined the party. So we exit, and hey, it's Ridley and Apple here to get us and see what's up. It turns out that the Highland Army is coming to Genkaku Castle, which is bad. Luckily, we have a Kirby and the Amazing Mirror now, so we warped the hell back to the castle.
I could never figure out how Kirby and the Amazing Mirror works. It's like some weird Metroid-like thing. It's like it's open world.
Probably maintained it's the best both the best Kirby game and the best Metroid game. But I have not played it because it's on this Game Boy Advance.
I've tried playing it a few times. I've never been able to figure out what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, what's with all these Kirbys with cell phones. Anyway, go on.
So anyway, so we learned a tiny little tidbit that's not important anyway, which is that if you took Kasumi in your party, which I did, she's the quote vice chieftain of Keikaku Hamlet. Huh? I wonder if she knew our grandpa, Lord Keikaku. That's the joke. Just as a reminder, Lord Keikaku is not actually his real name, and also where Kasumi's from is not actually called Keikaku. It's just that they keep having things that sound close enough that I won't stop making the joke. So anyway, so basically, look, Luca's bringing the entire damn town. He's bringing his own first company. Remember how the previous episode they were like, Yeah, so that's still true. So it's his own first company, Joey's third company, plus the fourth company that we kind of kicked their asses really bad. He's reinforced them with soldiers from another country called Harmonia, another country that we haven't heard of until just now. Does Harmonia appear in Season 1?
I don't remember any mention of Harmonia.
All right, so we've gone from a game with 2 countries to a game with 4. Yeah, I don't know who the hell Harmonia is either, but they're apparently important. So now that they've reinforced the 4th division, they have like 50,000 dudes, which is bad. Everyone remembers that even with the new alliance with Tauren, we have about 20,000 dudes. Now, I'm no big city military historian, but I think that with odds like that, or with a human differential like that, even the greatest strategic minds in the world would have a pretty rough time. What's the word? Weaseling their way out of this one. So anyway, interlude, which if you recall, interlude is what I say whenever we're going to see what the bad guys are up to. So, we see what the bad guys are up to. So if you recall from last time, there's a new bad guy named Leon. He's a guy, quote, from the first game, TM, and he's telling Luca that the best strategy would be to actually capture a bunch of other towns first. And Luca is like, no, we're going to end the war right now by just going and attacking Castle Genkaku. And I thought in this cutscene he was like, that's what we're going to do, and I'm the king, so that's what we're doing. But later we see that that's not what happens. So I don't know if it's a translation thing, if it's my own lack of comprehension thing, but that's what it seems like he says, I'm ignoring you, General, and we're just going to go get Genkaku. But you'll see in a second that's not what happens. So Joey volunteers his company for the front lines. He's like, we want to be right at the front, getting owned. Then there's a new character who, don't correct me, we'll find out later that what I'm saying is wrong. A new character appears named Sasarai, who is way too pretty to be a bad person, and she's like the leader of the soldiers from Harmonia. But that's weird because they seem like they're bad, and again, she's way too pretty to be a bad guy. So she volunteers to lead Joey on the front lines, and to join Joey on the front lines. She's like, "Oh, we're also going to join you. Our soldiers, we traveled a long way here from Harmonia, and we're all just kind of bored. So we're going to join you on the front line. Like going and having a war and dying is just like fun. Just why not? So that's weird. So, next scene, we're back at the castle, and we receive some really rough news, which is that that the giant army has now they've all entered the Radat area, and then we find out that the city of Two River is being attacked, and Ridley's army is getting owned, so they're not coming directly towards us, they're attacking Two River City, which is weird. So we go to save him. So we get to Two River City, and we have a strategy battle that technically is a real battle, not a plot battle, but you'd be forgiven if you didn't know that. So in this battle, the bad guys are Sasarai. What's Sakurai's first name?
Masahiro,
there you go. We got Masahiro Sasarai, and we've got Joey Atreides. It's not even a joke. That is actually his last name. And it's just them at first. And of course, they're about to get Ridley. They're, like, surrounding Ridley's army. And I think you fight, like, one round with Ridley. If you recall, Ridley is our kobold friend. But then Victor shows up to help. And you fight some more with Victor's army. And then at some point, Sasarai has a line that's like, something feels wrong. And that line never develops into anything, so I don't know what that line is for. So then Luca shows up as well.
So, if I could interrupt. So I think, based on the guide that I was reading, depending upon how the battle goes and if you have so many turns, more dialogue is revealed the longer the battle continues. So gotcha. I think, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's
all I did was I saw that Luke showed up, and Luke was like, "It's you" at Sasurai, and Sasurai was kind of like, "It's you" at Luke, and that's all I got.
Yeah,
Luke
I didn't get any more.
do the big magic.
No,
Oh, that's
I would
weird.
say I don't remember it, but I actually think he just didn't do it.
He didn't do it for me either. I hate this I hate these battles when I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, so in this battle, anyway, whatever ends up happening isn't that important.
Or
Because
maybe there's another battle and Luke does the big magic then. I don't know. I can't
we're talking
remember.
about Luke, not Luca.
Yeah, Luke does the big magic.
Okay. Anyway, whatever happens, at some point, yeah. So, but importantly though, Luke is like, "It's you" at Sasurai, and Sasurai is like, "It's you" at Luke. So then Luca shows up eventually, and is like, "What is taking so long? Y'all are lame. I'm going to show you how to be good at fighting." Anyway, for me, after maybe one other scene that I forgot to write down, they own Ridley. He doesn't die, he gets wounded, but he gets very seriously wounded, and our army retreats, because we were there to save him, and we failed, and we retreat. This battle is possible to win, and the plot is affected if you do, but I did not. It seems like it was a tough enough battle where I didn't feel like I would win if I tried it again, so I decided to not. I decided to just take the L. Also, the guide we're using says that it's more interesting if he gets wounded, which isn't a huge deal. But I thought, well, I don't think I can actually fix this problem. So
I didn't have anyone get wounded. However, I tried this battle a few times, and I could not dent Luca. He's too strong. So I just killed everyone else and avoided Luca, and eventually we retreated.
With Ridley.
Yes, Ridley was fine.
Neat. Good job. So it turns out. So anyway, so for us, Ridley got owned. So it turns out that they are doing Leon. We find out that they've taken like another town. So apparently they are doing Leon's plan of taking a bunch of other towns to kind of surround Genkaku, which, yeah, I found that confusing. Did y'all find this confusing?
Yeah.
For some reason, I have so little memory of this part of this week. I don't know why.
All right, well, I'm glad it's not just me, because sometimes I do just miss very obvious things because of, I don't know. So Luke says something. Luke is like, "I know that man, Sasurai. Let me take care of him." So apparently Sasurai is a dude. I thought he was
Oh yes, I think here he's like, "I'll take care of Sasurai," and then in the next strategy battle, he does big magic.
Yes.
Which y'all should have understood what I meant when I said Luke does big magic, and said, "No, that's the next battle."
A lot of stuff happens in that battle.
I thought it was Luca who did the magic.
That also happened. Those things both happen.
There's lots of people named Luke or Luca.
One of them is very important plot-wise, and the other one isn't, so I forgot. Anyways, we have an interlude with Luca and Ridley, although I guess Bernard didn't get this scene. You get an interlude where Luca is basically taunting Ridley. He's just like, "Ridley, we captured you. Your friend totally abandoned you." And Ridley's like, I'm not feeling abandoned by my friends. Actually, it makes perfect sense strategically. They should definitely not have saved me and had a bunch more of their guys get owned. They're just trying to beat you, dude. And he's like, no, your friend betrayed you. But then they're doing some like something dark side, dark intonations. And they're like, we've now totally captured all these towns. All we have left is South Window. And then Leon literally is like, I think he literally says in quotes, "We don't need a strategy for South Window because we have so many more people from them," which is funny because our guy said that last time. Really great when your strategist that you brought in just to do this is like, "We don't need a strategy." So However, he does have a point. They do have 50,000 people to our 20,000. Okay. So, what is our strategy to actually win? We have one that, again, actually makes sense. It's one of the most obvious strategies in all of video game history because it's the kind that allows the player to be a hero instead of the 20,000 soldiers all fighting together to be heroes, right? It's like the most common thing, where you just kill the bad guy's leader. Spoiler alert, that doesn't work in real life at all. That's not how politics or war work, but it does in this game, actually. It actually makes sense. So, as we know...
it helps that in this game, no one likes Luca or wants to do what he says.
That's what I was about to... Exactly. So in other games, they're just like, oh, it's like what? Did you get your ideas of like military strategy from chess? Like you get the king and you win? No, that's not how it works, dude. The geopolitics is much more complex than that. But yeah, in this game, Highland is very clearly a very complex place internally. A lot of people don't really like Luca. He kind of is doing a reign of terror. So if we kill him, first of all, like Bernard said, a lot of people just might not want to fight anymore if the guy who's really drumming them all up for fighting dies. But more importantly, says our strategist Shu, if we kill Luca, then next in succession, Jillian will become queen. And then we can have peace with Jillian because she'll be the queen. To which I wrote, oh no, fuck. And I'm not going to explain why I said that. If you've been paying attention, you'll be reacting that way as well. And if not, you'll find out in just a little bit. Very, very good, subtle scene where you realize what the twist is about to be. And dropping the twist here is just as impactful as if they had just made it a surprise later. So that's fun. So that's the idea. So here's the idea. They're gonna like do a couple different battles as a distraction and blah blah blah. But then at some point, Kiba is gonna go for Luca individually. Like Kiba is gonna burst in and be like, Luca, I want to fight you mano y mano because I hate your ass. And the idea is that the Kiba will then pretend to retreat. Well, he will actually retreat. And the idea is that since Kiba is a defector, and he and Luca have very bad blood, Luca will follow him. And he'll use that to draw Luca into an ambush where literally the entire 20,000 man army will have surrounded him.
And it's going to take all of them.
Good plan, honestly. So then we enter the dramatic end of first disc final. Does this game actually have multiple discs? It was on the PlayStation.
No, it's one disc.
Oh wait, yeah, I guess I would have swapped it. This, weirdly enough, if this game had like more FMVs, this definitely would have been the disc 1 final boss. It's really good, but I also did not beat it, so I would love Bernard to take it away.
All right, so...
Oh, wait, pause, one more thing. So what's funny is that because I didn't beat it, I also did not have time to go and watch like what happens afterward, so I didn't actually play the big twist, but again, because of foreshadowing, I already knew what was going to happen anyway. So anyway, go take it away, Bernard.
So one thing is, I'm pretty sure you actually can have Kiba killed when you take him prisoner after the battle. Yes. So I wonder how this plays out if you don't have him. I guess probably just someone else distracts Luca.
They come up with some other strat, yeah. Maybe they just have it be Toby, like... It's not as good, but or someone else that Luca hates.
Yeah. So the way this battle works is really freaking cool. And also it's a problem if you haven't been leveling up a bunch of characters. Basically, you make 3 parties, one led by Victor, one led by Flick, and one led by Toby. And after they surround Luca, the either Victor or Flick, their party goes in to fight Luca, and Luke, you are just trying to get his HP down as much as possible, but Luca owns you. And then Luca tries to run away, but then the second party shows up and fights Luca, and you're trying to get his HP down, but he owns them. And I guess you can theoretically win with the first or second party, and things just play out a bit differently. But anyway, probably what happens, because he's really freaking hard, is it takes all 18 characters to take him down. And with the final party led by Toby, you finally beat Luca, and Luca is just very shocked that he could lose, and he yells about how they're swine and he's gonna wipe them all off the face of the world.
He has very good, like, he's talking like a psychotic villain who's owning everyone. But you just owned him, but he's not acknowledging that you owned him. He's like totally off his rocker at this point.
Yeah. So he runs away, and Toby goes after him, and she tells them to gather the archers. So you chase after Luca, and I think you have a few fights with soldiers along the way.
So
Luca
dumb.
eventually... What?
So dumb. It's like, these soldiers, I'm so dead. They don't, like, I ran out of all my healing, and I'm just I'm like limping to the battle, and each of these battles, I'm like, I don't know if I can make it. That battle was so hard.
Yeah, I went into the battle with, like, a bunch of people at 1 HP because they were revived in the cutscene. It was rough. But anyway, we see Luca reach a cliff with a tree on it, and there's a weird mess of pixels in the tree. And Luca's talking about how he can't die here, and damn, you think I'm afraid? You think I fear death? Fear is a stupid emotion. And then he picks the blob of pixels off the tree, and it's like, what's this wooden amulet? And then he opens it, and fireflies come out, and he says, there are fireflies inside? What kind of joke? Whoever it was, they'll pay for this. Stupid, this whole world. But then the archers see the light from the fireflies and see where Luca is, and they shoot him, and he gets owned with a whole lot of arrows. And so Toby and his party show up, and Luca's just shouting about how they're pigs and maggots and stuff. And Luca then rushes at Toby, and even though the rest of the party is standing there, it's a one-on-one duel with Luca. But it's incredibly easy because Luca has, like, no health. All you have to do is defend, and you beat him in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
Luca asks why we fight. Why do we wish to destroy him? We say, most likely, to end this war, or we can say ... Apparently that's what the LP that I'm reading through in order to say all this, because I didn't know I would need notes for this section. Apparently they say ... But anyway, he says, even if you kill me and defeat Highland, you won't have one peace. You'll have a defeated country screaming for our vengeance. Hoo ha 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 ha. Ho 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 he he he. Ha 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 ha. Excellent. The rumbling in my body, the thirst that scorched my flesh, it's disappearing. It took hundreds to kill me, but I killed humans by the thousands. Look at me. I am sublime. I am the true face of evil. And then he dies.
Just to jump in, Luca's in a Shakespearean play.
Yeah.
he stumbled into Macbeth.
Also, like, I've heard a lot about how Luca is like such a great video game villain. Like, wow. And I gotta say, gamers once again taking the L. I don't think he's a bad villain. I really like him, but he's just got some good writing. He's just got some good melodramatic dialogue, but other than that, there's not much to him, unless it turns out he like doesn't really die here and something else happens later. Because he was clearly up to something, and presumably we'll find out what that something was at some point. It won't just stop happening because he died. But I will say, as of right now, it seems like his motivation, it turns out all along, which we never really knew what his motivation was, but turns out it was just that apparently he sees the meaning of life is to have the best KD ratio. He's like, yeah, you're killing me, but I've killed thousands of you, and I'm like, okay, you're still. I guess that. All right, what's the measure of a man? It's literally your KD, apparently. So, good job, dude.
Another thing in this scene, the game does a really good job with the level design, or like the background, as the camera will pan up and we watch the fireflies lift from the pixels, and like we scroll back down. It's just a really good sense of like the 2D plane, and then even the archers and sort of like that his bespoke animation of when he falls to die. It all is very dramatic and great. It would have blew my mind upon playing. I can imagine.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So next I see in the LP that Leon and Joey are watching. This reminds me, did y'all who let Ridley get owned, did y'all not have the scene with Leon in the castle when he comes to visit?
Oh, right. Yeah. Or wait, no. Oh, but I did have a different scene that I forgot to mention. I'm so silly. Wait. I actually missed a couple of things. I'm very silly. Let's back up a slight bit. We skipped the whole part of the game because I handed it off to you too soon, Bernard. I'm so sorry. Remember how I said that we were going to go do this plan where we draw him out, and then I said, okay, Bernard, you do it? That was a different battle. So we have this, and my notes even say this. I was just being stupid. I apologize. So remember earlier we were going to go have Kiba draw him out? We did that, and it works. And then we drew him into an ambush. I already said this. Yeah, he teleports away. He teleports away after we kick his ass, and he kills a shit ton of our dudes. That's the important thing. He has a big magic spell. We had a good plan, but then he has a teleport spell that can also kill a bunch of our dudes. After escaped, well, tonight he's going to have another attack. So we're going to have a big battle at nighttime, and then everything Bernard just said happened. But before that happens, in between these two battles, those of us in the Ridley got owned timeline see that he shows up. Cool. Yeah, and we're like, that's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. Why is he just randomly back now? It was kind of dramatic when he got captured. But it turns out he got rescued by Chaco. Which kind of rules.
Everyone's favorite character.
Yeah, it's like, I literally wrote, that shitty kid saved him. So good job, Chaco. You are annoying, but you're kind of cute, and you saved Ridley, who is a great character. So that's what happened with us. But I guess instead you got a different scene where what happens?
So I got a scene where Toby and Nanami are just like walking through the castle, and they're like, and you're controlling them, and you're just like walking to the exit of the castle because you're going to go recruit some people or something while you wait for the next story scene. And Leon walks up, and he's like, hey, it's me, Leon Silverberg. I am the strategist for the Highland Army. How's it going? And Toby and Nanami are like, what? And he's like, hey, let me tell you all about this secret attack that Luca is going to do. Don't know what you want to do with that information, but there it is. I'm just laying it out there. Okay, bye. And he runs off. And Toby and Nanami are just like, what the fuck just happened? So they go and tell Shu and everyone, and they're like, this is almost definitely a trap, but we don't really have anything else to go on. So what the hell? Let's do it. And that's how we end up learning about the night raid.
So I have one where it's the battle between, and I'm going to my room to go to sleep, and we've lost, and we're gonna wake up in the morning and do this Luca sort of strategy with the big teams, and then a random character just comes up and goes like, "Hey, let's talk. Come to my house." And then I explored the castle and couldn't figure out where his house was, so I have nothing else to say to that. But
that's an optional theme.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys did it. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
I didn't, but I will say, I realized, Bernard, that there's a plot hole because so what I forgot to mention is the reason why we knew about that battle in our plot line was not because Leon visited us, but because Ridley tells us. But what I forgot, it wasn't that Ridley just found out. Ridley says this is a message from Leon. Which also leaves Evil being like, that's kind of weird.
Okay, so in either plot line, Leon is the one who lets you know about this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would just like to say that, when Sai asks you to go to his house, you're like, fuck, where was that? I barely remember the beginning of the game. But then eventually you remember that he was at Ryubei Village, one of the many villages that have been burned to the ground. So you ask Vicky to take you back there. And you go there, and you go to his house, and his daughter is there, and his daughter is like, what the fuck? You're a bad dad. I'm going to join the army too. And you get to recruit his daughter. So that's fun.
Nice. So anyway, Luca just died.
Anyway, after killing Luca, and maybe he'll come back as a zombie, I don't know.
The Neclord.
Oh, man.
He goes back in time and becomes the Neclord in kind of a Final Fantasy 1 type beat.
Love it. I love that.
Does Luca have one of the true runes? Because the true runes, seem to sort of grant you immortal life. I don't remember if he has one of the true runes.
Considering he's one of the main, he's like the main villain, you think he honestly, he should have got one. Obviously.
Well,
I can't believe
as you're alluding... Yeah, as you're going to tell us, I find out that Julia does, and I didn't know that.
Oh. Anyway... So, after Luca dies and everyone's just standing there looking at him and being like, whoa, he's dead, it pans down and we see Leon and Joey watching, and Leon's like, is that what you wanted? And Joey's like, it's what I always hoped for, and I want to believe I'm brave enough to accept fate. And Luca dies. And we return to the castle, and everyone's happy that we won. And Toby collapses because he is real tired.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what's his name? So Leon was definitely in on it with Joey to intentionally own Luca or something.
Yes, that appears to be the case. So next we see the marriage, the official wedding ceremony between Julia and Joey. And it's just very in the name of the ruler who holds the circle rune and the guardian who holds the beast rune. By my body and by my soul, as the guardian of this place, as knight and as subject, I pledge to serve Julia Bright. It's all very normal, and we're just sort of going through it. And Julia's like, yes, I take you, Joey Blight, as my husband, blah, blah, blah. Furthermore, I confer upon him the title of King of Highland, and I pledge to serve him the rest of my natural days, and blah, blah. Wait, what?
Yeah, so that's what's happening now. And I'm pretty sure that did anybody on our side know about the wedding?
I don't think so, and I don't think anyone knew about the wedding. And like, I'm pretty sure, just like the way she says, I confer upon him the title of King of Highland. I'm pretty sure it's like, she would take the throne even if she married even if she married a man, the man wouldn't take the throne.
Yeah,
but she's
so it's not
for some reason decided that Joey would be the king.
Yeah, which is very interesting, because if it was like, oh, this is a sneaky plot where Luca died, and now because of like patriarchal what's the word, successorship laws, Joey is king now, that would definitely be really interesting, and it would be a shocking and very cool little turn, like ironic, very Shakespearean kind of ironic twist. But yeah, the way it's worded makes it seem like, no, that's not how it would have happened. Jillian would have been queen no matter what. But what?
Yeah, it looks like she's been duped in some way, or
maybe she
she's
just thinks
in on
Joey's
it,
good.
or
actually, I guess we don't know that Joey's bad yet. None of us, I guess, actually know that. We just know that because that would make dramatic sense.
Yeah, technically we just know that he's doing bad things, but maybe he's doing bad things to try and do a good end.
Like, technically all he's done so far is fight for Luca while constantly saying, don't worry, I'm working on it, implying that he's got his own side game. So I guess it actually could be totally reasoned that his side game was to kill Luca, and that he actually does want peace, and that now he'll just have peace. And maybe that's what he told Julia, right?
But the problem is the game isn't over yet.
Of course. No, we know because of dramatic storytelling that he's obviously had some kind of villainous turn. But that actually makes sense. Like, it could have been as simple as, I would believe more that Julia just thinks that he should be king because he'll be so great, more than like Julia is also bad or something.
Yeah, I don't think Julia's bad.
Roped her into whatever idea he has.
Yeah.
Also remember, Joey was there when the Muse all the people's souls went away and knew what was going to happen and was not very fazed by it or surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say he was fazed by it, but he did seem to know it would happen.
I mean, being complicit is, I feel like he's evil. He's evil. Like, you can't dabble with like mass suicides.
He is doing evil things, but he is not like Luca Blight, where he is literally saying, I am the face of evil. He doesn't think he's evil. He's trying to do good.
Maddy, when you play, one of the things I noticed is Julia in the wedding scene is very despondent in character drawn.
Yes,
just in her portrait. It's just she looks different, and like she doesn't look happy. So it's like, obviously, as you guys have been speculating, potentially it's that motivation. But I think the biggest thing is that Joey took the name Blight and dropped Atreides. What a travesty. What a travesty.
Maybe he realized his name being Atreides was stupid.
Yeah, who knows, honestly. It's a really cool turn of events. I would say, it's funny, earlier I called it a twist. It's not even a twist. I mean, the villain dying halfway through the game is a twist, but the rest of it is just a development. And as we all know, plot developments are better than plot twists. It's just things happened and it was surprising. A twist is when you were misled in some way, right? It's like, no, this all makes perfect sense. This is clearly what has been being angled at by Joey for a while now. Who fucking knows what's gonna happen? I don't know enough about this game to know what to expect here.
Yeah. Bernard,
also, I definitely saw a long arc of Joey end up being good, and actually, if it turned out he just is actually the villain now, that would be really cool.
When you played the first game, Bernard, did you find the plot very exciting and twisty and like this? Or is it unique to this one?
The first game is not particularly exciting and twisty. You just sort of go along with it, and it's much simpler in just about every way. It's just sort of a good time, and you go through, and there are a couple of shocking developments, but no, this game is much more plot heavy.
Yeah, I agree with Maddy. I have no idea how it's going to go. I mean, we still have a bit to go, and we still have many other enemies.
Yeah, and apparently
we still haven't killed the Neclord.
Exactly. We still gotta get
I can confirm, just spoiler territory, Neclord is not in Suikoden 3, which I'm the only one I've ever played. So hopefully we get to do
that. Would be stupid.
I did accidentally find out something about Suikoden 3 that is related to this game and the previous game that made me be like, wait, what the fuck? I don't want to say it though because it's spoilers.
Okay. Yeah, you should tell us what it is later.
Yeah, I will.
Also, FYI, I found this out in between getting home and recording the pod because my girlfriend told me, and I need to make sure y'all are aware of this. Did you know that they dropped a demo for Kirby and the Forbidden Whatever?
Yes, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Okay, just want to make sure it dropped like today. So I just remembered it, and I want to make sure everyone's aware.
I'm not going to play it because I know I'm going to play the game, and everyone says the demo is amazing, so it's not like the game is secretly bad. And I want to just go into the game completely fresh.
Totally. I was just doing y'all solid.
Thank you. All right, are we ready for memorable moments?
Yeah, and let's play that Luca Blight boss music because it was really good. My only one is just the way that he says, "Take my idiot son with you." That sounds like a joke line of dialogue, and not like a meme on Twitter. Like that's like a very modern style of writing, and not like that's what I would have written in the notes as a way of paraphrasing what he says, but it's the actual dialogue. And that rules. I don't have much more because I literally just blasted through this game to this week to try and get there because I thought it was a lot, and then I ran smack dab head first into the solid brick wall that is the fight with Luca.
Yeah.
So, kind of in my with this battle and sort of, are you guys finding the leveling and like, because there's no like way to strategic, like, because there's no blacksmith, it's like, I don't know, I'm finding it, I beat the battle but barely, and I'm just like, man, my levels are high, it's just like I can't get better weapons and attacks or people to hit harder.
Yeah,
it's all magic.
It's really weird that we haven't unlocked a blacksmith at the castle yet, because I've been getting everyone, and I don't have a blacksmith at the castle yet, which is weird. I did find that even though Couscous is occupied, you can go there and go to the blacksmith right at the entrance of the town.
Oh my gosh.
It's really funny because you walk in and there are Highland soldiers just everywhere, and if you try to go anywhere but the blacksmith, they stop you.
I highly recommend you do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I found so far, and for the record, I probably could have beaten this boss if I had a little bit more time to grind. I did do some.
Right.
But so far in the game, anytime something's giving me trouble, a little bit of grinding went a long way. So I haven't really had that trouble. It's just been like, oh, it turns out that the way that this game's number curve is, you can pretty much overcome anything with a little bit of elbow grease, and maybe a little bit of using your brain a little bit here and there. But hopefully that continues to be the case. Because, as I've mentioned, this game is just a game that just doesn't seem to want you to play it. And I don't mean that in a critical way about its game design. It's a really well-designed game. The battle system is good, but the game is so plot-heavy that it never feels like it cares if I'm engaging with the game part. And because of that, I don't want to. If there was more game in the game, then I would play it. But
you should play Suikoden 1, where it's all game.
Yeah, as it stands, I'm like, all right, game, you clearly don't seem to think the game parts of your game are very important, so therefore, I'm inclined to agree. So it better not be very difficult.
For me, I just find those military battles so upset. Like, I just don't like them.
Oh, those suck. They're fucking molasses.
And I'm just like, oh, good.
In Suikoden 1, the army battles are basically the same as the duels. They're just rock, paper, scissors things where you select infantry, bows, or magic, and you help the other ones select the right thing. There's a bit more to it than that, but it's not like a Fire Emblem thing. It's not shitty Fire Emblem. Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It definitely seems like they were trying to be like, this is our gimmick. Our gimmick is that the game has like 3 different battle systems. Kind of like Xenogears. Xenogears had the gimmick of 2 completely unique battle systems. But Xenogears definitely, Xenogears is a complex game, but it definitely did that part much better than this game. Where this game has one very good and kind of weird because of like having 6 party characters and pretty unique, but also not super out there battle system. A pretty cool variation on a typical Dragon Quest battle system, and I would have been fine with that. And then they're like, here's 2 other things that are just kind of there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Oh, good.
Go ahead.
But the game itself doesn't seem to even believe in it that it's good because most of the strategy battles are just plot battles.
Yeah, and it doesn't tell you. I wish it would just say like, also in the military battles, you can let Apple make all the moves. It could be automated, which I think is crazy. Like you can just select like, oh, what would you do? Like basically telling you like you can give it all to the sort of like game to do everything, but move both sides, play against itself.
I do think it's very cool that the game blurs the line between plot battle and real battle in the sense that these battles are all sort of nexi, in which they do the Fire Emblem thing, where if your characters die, they're dead for realsies. But by plopping that into a game that is actually a different kind of game, a different kind of battle system, with a different way of dealing with its plot characters, it does allow you to actually, like, they don't die for real, but, like, it does allow the characters getting owned in battle to actually change the storyline in small or bigger ways, and like, the open-endedness of that does make the group battles exciting in a way that the normal JRPG battles aren't, because they don't have that sort of complex interplay of like narrative of like narrative not open-endedness, but just narrative like web of complexity there. But also, boy, they're not fun to play at all.
I just remember when Ridley died, it's like, this is where I died. I'm like, oh shit, was he not supposed to die? And I was like, did I lose? And I was just so confused, and I was like, oh, it's still going. Good, okay, we're good. And then when Luca did his big attack and teleported, and like Maddy said, killed a few people, there's like, I can't believe this is my final resting place. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, they're all fine. They're all still playable. The military battles are just like a way to continue sort of dramatic beats.
I don't think Luca ever did a big magic and hurt people with it for me. But I swear Luke did a big magic. He saw Masahiro Sakurai and was like, okay, I'm going to do this big magic now, and tornadoes appeared on the battlefield, and a bunch of enemies died and a bunch more got hurt. And then Luke was like, okay, bye. And then later, after the battle, Apple was like, Luke, could you do that like all the time? And he's like, no.
No, I don't know that at all. I think maybe I actually didn't get that, because now that you've explained what it is, I'm like, not ringing a bell. Though I did get a scene before the battle where Luke was like, I'm gonna do something about that, about Sakurai, and we're like, what? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. But then I don't think in my version of events it was followed up on.
Well, in mine it was, and it was cool.
It must be due to some complex lattice of variables of what happens in these battles, which again is cool, but also it has us going, huh?
Yes. Also doesn't help that we have Luke doing a big magic and Luca doing a big magic.
Mm-hmm. What's next? Lucas doing a big magic? What's next? Lukash doing a big magic? What's next? Lucasino Corta from this science fiction book that I'm reading doing a big magic?
Lou doing a big magic?
L doing a big magic?
L from Death Note doing a big magic.
Yep.
Ooh. Good rest.
Anyway, I'm looking at the list of recruitable characters. The only one that was memorable for me is I did do some recruiting after killing Luca, and one of them was a fellow named Hoy. So you go to Radat. You go to Radat, and you go to the bar, and there's this guy like with a bunch of people around him, and he's like, yeah, and that's how I took down Luca Blight. And everyone's like, wow, that's amazing. Let's get you more sake and fish and whatever. And then you walk up and you're like, hi. And then they realize that he is not Lord Toby. He's some jerk. And some people rush in and like, you've been doing this scam in all these towns. You've been doing it in South Window and Couscous and Rock Axe. And he's like, I've never even been to Rock Axe. But you can choose to defend him or not. I chose to defend him because that's how you recruit him. And you and he get beat up by the people in the bar, and then he joins her party.
That's cool.
One recruiting I had was before we did all this, in between the Torn Republic and like deciding to do these battles, was Bedeau, which is he's on the forest path to Matilda. He's like that guy who's just sitting there, just like saying nothing. Mm-hmm. If you have Shiro in your party, he will then go do his like nothing, and then Shiro will come out and he's like, you seem like a good master. And then Shiro barks and he's like, all right, I'll join you. So when he joins you, the thing that he gives you is these listening crystals, which can recruit other monsters in the game. And so you can recruit a griffin, and you can recruit a unicorn named Siegfried, which I think is hilarious.
Is that
it's the same unicorn in the Hicks and Tingar side quest.
Oh, is it?
Yes. And one thing I find really hilarious is the listening crystals descriptions. It in the menu when you mouse over them, it just says something like listening crystal animals ... In
the big Luca Blight battle, I did put 2 of the creatures in. So Maddy, they take up 2 character spots, each of them, and they're not very good.
And here's the kicker: they're not good.
They're not good. It's a unicorn, and I'm just like, okay, it's gonna have epic magic, right? No, it has shit magic, and I was so mad that I even let that happen. I was like, this is such a bummer. I shouldn't just put random characters in these 3 parties to fill them out. But anyway, yeah, those are the 2 memorable recruits for me.
Nice.
So I think we're done.
Yes, I think so.
Cool. I'll do this part. Just why not? If you're enjoying this godforsaken podcast, you should check us out at rpgbook.club, where you can look at it. And scroll. Folks, I think I've maybe literally never been to rpgbook.club in my life. You can maybe scroll up, maybe you can even scroll down. You can subscribe. You can become a supporter, which means that you get to vote on what games we play. You get to make us do things. You can also supporting us contributes towards us playing even more games, such as Longcast and Shortcast. Longcast, we're currently playing Final Fantasy 13-2. And then we're going to play Final Fantasy 13-3, and then we're going to play Metal Gear Solid. We alternate between Longcast, where we play either individual or series of the game that'll take a whole long time, and then Shortcast, where we play things that'll only be like 1 or 2 episodes, or 3. And in addition, we got RPG no Kiseki, which is a great podcast for those of you who want to hear something that's like this, but without me in it.
Here's the fun part. It's not called that. It's called Book Club no Kiseki.
Book Club no, which is a much funnier name. Yeah. So if you think that this is cool, but I'm a transphobe, then you should listen to Book Club no Kiseki. I'm just kidding. I don't ever play that card. I think it sucks, and and people shouldn't do that. But I will do it as an irony, as a joke. Yeah. So like, and if you're a supporter of us, then you get to listen to Book Club no Kiseki episodes like a month or some shit before they actually are available to everyone else, which is cool because they're playing through the entire Trail series, which is an insane thing to do. Cool. And yeah, so do that. Maybe look at a shirt that we might have, or click on a link to our Twitter, which we probably also have. It's just Sam.
Are you guys doing, Maddy, are you still doing Let's Plays, Twitch streams?
No, I haven't Twitch streamed in about a year, which is a damn shame. It's a damn shame. I was having a good time doing it, but whatever.
Well, you could have done that too.
Yeah, I could have plugged that, but I didn't. But yeah, the Twitter feed is a little funny because I feel like if any of us asked Sam for the Twitter keys, he would just share it with us because it's something we can all do. But no one ever has. And Sam does have personal Twitter, but he never uses it. So RPG Book Club tweet is like tweeting about video games, but also like whatever political things Sam wants you to see. That's basically it. Which is pretty so if something really shitty is happening in the world, of course there's a million shitty things happening in the world at any given time, but if you want to know specifically what particular things, Sam is invested in on like the world stage outside the world of video games, just follow the RPG Book Club Twitter because that's what it is. Which I think is cute and funny. Anyway, yeah, no, that's that. I totally nailed it. It's great. I will say, I don't think there's a whole lot of game here left, so I do think we're going to start voting on our next game pretty soon. We should probably talk to Sam a bit about this. I think probably we're going to start opening voting next episode, actually. So
probably.
Gear up for that. We've got lots of increasingly stupid games that you can pick which of the stupid games you want us to play. So look forward to that. And yeah, I think I got all of it. I think I totally nailed it. I think that with me doing the outro and Bernard doing the intro, we both are almost as smart as one Sam.
Yes.
So go team. Yeah. So this is RPG Book Club, and next week, what are we gonna play? I have no idea. We'll fucking figure out later.
It'll be in the show notes. So if you once this episode comes out, you can play to that.
Just take a look, and that's what it'll be unless we change our minds. Anyway, so this has been RPG Book Club. It's continuing our trend of doing lengthy episodes for very brief amounts of game. I've been Maddy Grace Alexandra Webben.
I'm David Bernard Houck.
And I'm Anthony Lerma. Toodaloo!
Goodbye.